Now, even though the DC comic stuff was awesome, that comic, there's actually another announcement at Comic Con that dwarfs it, and that brings us to our next subject.
Yeah, to a shocking surprise, uh, Godzilla outshines Batman and Superman together.
And Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman. That's a shock.
Well, after Warner Brothers, Legendary Pictures had their whole their panel. They used to be partners with Warner Brothers. Now they've moved on to Universal. And of course, the first thing they announced was that they did confirm that they're doing a Godzilla sequel.
That was no surprise.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
And Gareth Edwards is returning to direct the sequel after he gets done doing the Star Wars movie, which most likely is going to be a Boba Fett film.
Why?
I don't know.
What makes you think it's going to be a Boba Fett film?
That's just my guess.
Didn't he die in 6?
I don't know. That's one of the questions.
He fell into the Sarlacc pit, but the games and other novel somehow bring him back.
That's just my rumor. That's a rumor I heard. That's my guess. It might be something else, but that's
and according to what sources I read, they're going to ignore all adaptations after the events.
Well. Anyway, he wasn't there at Comic-Con, but he did a video on the screen and talked about how he's going to do the Godzilla movie after he does Star Wars, and then he teased that other monsters are going to be joining up Godzilla.
Oh yeah, and he teased King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan.
I squealed, which would be phenomenal.
I found guessing myself. Like, this was my reaction. King Ghidorah, awesome! Mothra, oh, cool, we kind of saw it coming, but awesome, Mothra's gonna be there too. Rodan, a bit much.
That'd make my dad happy. My dad's a big Rodan fan.
I'm just like, Rodan, a little much.
It makes sense, because Rodan has teamed up with Godzilla a lot of times. This is basically a remake of Ghidorah.
Destroy all monsters.
Or, Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, yeah. So, Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah.
I'd have picked Anguirus over Rodan.
Because we're big Anguirus fans. So
well, he's got a big fan base too.
That's true. But either way, I think that's great. I mean, that really shows that Toho must be really, really impressed with this new film. To say, not only are we going to give you a sequel, but we'll work out a deal and we'll give you these 3 other kaiju monsters from our library to work with.
In fact, it started to make me think that Toho probably didn't have any high expectations for the first one.
Right.
They knew it was going to be a marvel to behold, maybe, because let's face it, America's got far more money than anybody when it comes to Hollywood.
Right.
So maybe it was a chance for America to redeem themselves, and Toho probably was sitting at them like, okay, we'll give you a second chance, but we're not going to license you any of our other characters except for Godzilla. Show to us that you can at least make a decent representation.
Right.
And not only did we make a decent representation, but apparently we blew it out of the park.
Yeah, we knocked that sucker out of the park.
So much that not only did Toho love it, but apparently Japan loves it. America loved it, and it pretty much ensured a sequel within its first month.
Right. And I definitely think this is the way to go. A lot of people are wondering, well, maybe there's gonna be some new creatures. I was like, no, but the sequel, let's bring in the old boys.
So if you didn't like the first one too well, think of it more as like the first one was practice. Like the first one was just getting their feet wet, just to like show them like we can do it.
See what works and what doesn't, and for the most part, it did work.
Yeah,
it did have its issues, but like what movie doesn't?
Oh yeah, it has its issues, but then again, you got to think of it as practice. Like this was them trying to redeem themselves. Like, can we make a competent looking Godzilla film?
Yeah, hey, the monster action was on point.
Oh yeah, the monster action, they did it right.
Yeah.
The build up, the build up did its job, but now I don't think we need build up anymore because we know what Godzilla is. We know what he looks like. We saw him stomping through the city. We saw everybody cheering him on, like, "Oh, Godzilla saved us!" And Superman came out and was like, "What the hell?"
That was fun. I would love to see King Ghidorah come down to Earth, start wrecking shit.
That's
Godzilla.
Curious. What's going to be the origins for these characters now? Like Mothra's not too hard to figure out.
I would see. Well, the way I would do it, King Ghidorah comes down in like an asteroid or something that hits the Earth. He comes out. He starts wrecking shit. Godzilla goes to fight him, and Godzilla is beaten. and he goes and you see him leave for a while, but then he comes back with help. And here comes Mothra and Rodan, and then we have a 3-on-1 battle at the end.
You want the king of the monsters to be beaten?
Well, he's got to go through some trials and tribulations. That's the thing. That's the thing with every superhero nowadays. They have to go through some trials and tribulations, and then he comes back. That's just my idea of bringing forth the other two monsters.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Okay, Mothra, we can explain that. Yeah, because. Yeah, we can explain We can explain Mothra for the little tease that they showed in the first movie with the box that said like Mothra Project or something. So Mothra might come out through that. Maybe there was something going on in that nuclear test site that will give birth to the larva form, and then she might evolve.
Right.
I'm sure she will, because there's no way they'd get away with it if she didn't. Like, we're not gonna have larva Mothra the whole movie like we had in Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah.
Not gonna work.
Right.
We don't need a puppeteer either. Just CGI it.
Well, either way they come up with it, it's gonna be exciting to see.
Yeah, like what about Rodan? How are they gonna explain this?
Just another prehistoric monster created by nuclear energy, or they left it up. They said in the first movie that there were creatures that existed a long time ago that fed off sort of radiation, and as the radiation went, they kind of went underground. Maybe the nuclear radiation kind of woken them back up.
Possible.
Yeah.
Where do you think Rodan should come from on the planet?
Where Rodan should come from?
If he was going to hide underground, where is he coming from? Or what do you have hidden?
Maybe some huge mountain in Japan or something.
Does it have to be Japan? Because you got to remember, these are not Japan-grown monsters anymore.
That's true.
Like, we didn't even know where, like... In fact, Godzilla's first appearance wasn't in Japan.
Yeah.
It was Hawaii.
Either way, I think it's really exciting. We'll probably have to wait till 2017 at least, but that's fine.
Yeah, so
give it time to work the script out. Either way, I'm really excited.
Make a good Star Wars movie. Please the Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Come back and do Godzilla.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really happy. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, and I'm glad I would turn Will into a Godzilla fan, and this makes us happy. And now we're bringing in the his friends. So yeah.
Like my Godzilla fandom, that was kind of funny because like again I've mentioned the story before how I grew up as sort of a Godzilla-esque follower. Like I've seen the movies. I remember faithfully watching the show, the Hanna-Barbera one. So that was pretty much my knowledge of Godzilla. I'd see movies in between. That was pretty much it. But so yeah, I knew of Godzilla, but kaiju monsters and giant transformer robots really didn't intrigue me as much as everyone else.
Right.
Until I don't know. I guess recently when I guess we had that fight night with Godzilla.
Yeah, that's when
I was kicking all of your
ass.
That must have been embarrassing too. Godzilla diehard just got embarrassed by a guy that didn't know nearly as much. That was my night.
Anyway, Godzilla 2. Also, another thing that Universal now or Legendary Pictures announced is they're doing Skull Island, which is a King Kong movie. I wasn't.
Are they going to do that before Godzilla?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like the Peter Jackson movie. I didn't like the Peter Jackson King Kong.
The recent one?
Yeah, I didn't care for it too much.
We all went to see it in the theaters.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Jack Black?
Yeah, that was part of it. And it just wasn't very memorable. I also thought the ending was just way too cheesy with her, the him and her, and the human girl.
Oh, like with them having fun on the ice?
Yeah, that's like, okay.
Well, that started making me sympathize and think, like, oh, this is reminding me of Mighty Joe.
Yeah, it was more of a Mighty Joe movie than it was a King Kong.
Really was. I'm like, you're making me sympathize with the thing like it's Mighty Joe. It's not.
But like, I like King Kong. I'll definitely check it out. You know, interesting they're going with the name Skull Island. You know, it's kind of like, okay, you're trying to like Dark Knight this up or something? Man of Steel Skull Island.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. They are. Like, how are you gonna retell this story?
At least they're. I wonder if they're gonna call Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters.
Might as well.
Yeah.
That seems to be the.
Yeah.
Seems to be the popular
thing to do. Go. So I don't know. I mean,
hell, they got a show called Gotham.
Right. The people are also wondering if this is going to lead into maybe a Godzilla versus King Kong film.
Not unless King Kong is
Godzilla supersized.
Yeah, Godzilla size.
Yeah.
And even then, we all know King Kong's gonna get his ass whooped.
Oh, so what do you think of Skull Island? Do you have any interest in it at all? Or?
Not really.
Not really.
I'll probably see it because the old movie buff in me kind of forces me to. Because I'm an old movie hark.
Yeah. Despite all the re-tells of King Kong, to me the best one's still the original.
Of course, like, typical nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm an old movie bug that goes with like the old classics, film noir, Hammerhawk horror films. So yeah, the moviegoer in me that knows the history and having grown up with fathers and stuff that of course introduced us to these things when we were very young. No doubt I'm gonna be into it and I'm gonna have to check it out just to see if they blasphemized anything. So Skull Island, I'll see it, but I'm not happy about it.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Like, whatever. Like, I don't want it to be bad. I don't want any movie to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So